All right. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Thank you all for coming out tonight. WVU College Republicans have sponsored this event. I'm really happy to see a full crowd. I didn't expect to see this many people here. Pretty happy about that. It is. So tonight, we're going to have Mr. MILO Yiannopoulos here, and I'm sure if any of you follow him on Instagram tonight, he's going to be talking about what Trump means, because Donald J. Trump will now be the 45th President of the United States. All right. I believe you all have probably waited long enough. You're probably ready to see Milo talk and not hear me talk more. Yeah. So, without any further ado, Mr. MILO Yiannopoulos.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't.
You're a tough guy, Jim.
And we need to have a leader that is real tough.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
Not the first time I've had somebody up there today. Right. All right. There we go. Can you hear me okay at the back now? It's no better, is it? Is that your fault? No. All right. I'll just wait. I mean, I've got all night. Stop it. Oh, there we go. There we go. Finally, I can hear the sound of my own voice. Right. Wonderful. Wonderful. How are you? Living in quite a different America. What a wonderful place. What a wonderful place. Sorry I was late. You've heard of CPT, or FPT, faggy people time, is even worse. So you're lucky you only got 20 minutes late, because normally it's about 45. No, they couldn't find me a little lectern, you know, and I thought, well, no, I like to lean, so I'm going to have to wander around. But that's all right, that's all right. Thanks so much for having me. Okay, I'm going to do this. All right. Welcome to the Dangerous Faggot Tour. I, of course, am MILO Yiannopoulos, and this is Trump's America. Congratulate yourselves for that. This is my first show after the election. Daddy's been elected. Hillary's been hiking in the woods. In those totally spontaneous and in no way, absolutely whatsoever, completely fucking staged photo ops. Did you notice how they kind of like, they make it to the Daily Beast within about 11 minutes? Oh, here's Hillary hiking, because of course she hikes. Here's Hillary in Whole Foods, because of course she does her own food shopping. She hasn't been in a fucking supermarket for 20 years. It's ridiculous, ridiculous. If rumors are to be believed, I am a candidate for Trump's administration. Secretary of Good Looks, Perfect Hair and Lovely Skin. It's a new cabinet. It's, what? What was that? Make it gay? Well, no. We don't want that. I'd be out of a job. I can't be token gay in a country that doesn't mind them. That would be awful. You've got to stay Republican. All right, it's a new cabinet-level position I feel I'm very qualified for. I had pressure to bring the tour back, of course, in New York or California, or as I like to call them, butt-hurt containment zones. After the last, after this election, we're in real America. West Virginia, of course, central to Trump's victory. Blue-collar voters here. But unexpected, but you did it. You did it like you did it in Michigan. It's wonderful. Didn't you just love that moment of Trump in the coal miner's hat? The most wonderful thing. Isn't it great? And if you don't recognize how amazing that picture is, then you probably contributed to Jill Stein's recount effort. And you probably also eat Kellogg's products. Now, has anybody been following the news today? Yeah, fuck them. Tony the Tiger. It's great. Fuck you! Now, Kellogg's make very bad tasting cereals. Oh, look. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Was it you? Thank you if it was you. There we go. Look. Finally start to feel like a human being again. All right. You take those since we're out. Okay. Oh, well, wonderful. There we go. Well, welcome. Hello. Right, okay. No, I'm just checking because normally they cover over the name of the school when I speak. You'll have these. No, it's true. You have these very grand, beautiful lecterns, and there'll be like a little bit of black cloth where they've covered over the name of the school because they can't possibly have that. Right. Well, Frosted Flakes. We call them something else in England, but they're just as shit here. It's like fat people food, isn't it? Oh, fuck them. Fuck Kellogg's. We'll tidy that up later, don't worry. I'll send somebody to do it. They're just not very good. I mean, after a decade of liberal boycotts, a decade of these awful, petulant, throwing their toys out the pram moments of Frosted Flakes have achieved what the feminists couldn't. They're horrible. After the petulant drama from liberals for 30 years, these shaming tactics, the mob justice on Twitter, finally conservatives are having some fun, and don't they just hate it? Started with Gamergate, and now with Kellogg's, who withdrew their ads from Breitbart because they said that we don't reflect their values. 45 million readers and American voters don't reflect their values. Well, if you say so, go fuck yourselves. I know some people have no appetite for boycotts, but they sort of brought it on themselves. They invented this after all. And over 150,000 people today have signed the boycott, or at least signed a Dump Kellogg's thing online. And good for them, because the left has had a monopoly on this stuff for a while. And they invented it. And I've got some more calling out to do today. Not just faggy breakfast cereal. Earlier this week, I received a string of messages, very disturbing messages, from the student organizers at Iowa State University and Minnesota State University. They all said very similar things. They said that college administrators were hitting them with last-minute security fees to have me speak. Now, of course, the only people at risk at my talks are me and perhaps Tony the Tiger. But they like to do this stuff last minute. They'll come and they'll say, oh, well, we've done a security assessment. Now we need $2,000. When do we need that? In 2 days. And when's the event? 4 days away. So they're asking these sort of 19-year-old kids to conjure up thousands of dollars at the last minute. It's disgusting. And of course, they do it on purpose. These two colleges are the latest offenders. This has been done before. It is a slippery tactic of college administrators, and you shouldn't fall for it, and you shouldn't tolerate it. They're too afraid to ban conservative speakers outright. So instead, they give student organizers these awful fees. Iowa State had the audacity to get back to us, telling us that physical altercations at DePaul and bomb threats in Florida meant the security requirements had to be ramped up. That's perfectly reasonable, except they happened an awfully long time ago, and they happened to me. It wasn't my audience coming along listening to, terrible jokes about black dick and listening to about the virtues of a small state and a more sensible foreign policy. No, it was lunatics outside. It was their own students. It was the students they've encouraged to believe that throwing your toys out the pram and violence are an appropriate response to disagreeing with someone else's opinion. Their own students couldn't be trusted to behave. And colleges knew, the colleges know this. They know who I am. They know all about it. But they do it last minute to fuck with you. And they wait till last minute to tell people. At least they replied. It's been 2 days. We haven't heard anything from Minnesota yet, despite multiple attempts from my team to reach them. Both of these universities, by the way, are funded by the taxpayer. They're funded by you guys, or at least your parents, and the rest of America. And they are denying students their rights and their wishes. And it's got to stop. And I think the only appropriate response to this is ritual public humiliation. of the kind that progressives have been doing to conservatives for 30 years or more. So I intend to do that in both of their cases. This isn't just about technicalities, after all, is it? It's about principle. It's about 3 colleges, because there's this, what's the other one? There's another one. No, Maryland is a long time ago. No, it happens all the time. I'm just thinking, this week. There's another one this week anyway. These colleges it's not just about the technicalities, the legalities. It's probably illegal for them to be doing this, but it is also about the principle. Denying 50% of their student body their right to listen to the speakers they want, express the opinions that they want. Other colleges like the University of Chicago have had a much more sensible approach to this. University of Chicago has responded to the age of safe spaces by telling students, don't come here if you want trigger warnings and nannying. Come here if you want to learn, because this is a place of educational inquiry, which is very encouraging. There seems to be a sort of split between lunatic social justice hellholes and more sensible schools that understand that free expression is a cornerstone of a good education. So if you have some time on your hands, why don't you it's you. If you have some time on your hands later, why don't you consider writing to one of these guys? Richard Davenport, the president of the University of Minnesota, or Stephen Leith, the president of the University of Iowa. I'm sure they'd love to hear from you. If you're at home in front of a computer watching this, you can just open another tab and send them a nice, politely worded letter about their approach to free speech. Anyway, I've done some research. It turns out that West Virginia University might be the most triggering school in all of America. Do you know why? Well, locals call this state West by God, Virginia. Think of how that offends these atheist progressives. Think about the feminists triggered by that. The Muslims triggered by that. You see that guy, Iowa State guy? It just seems to happen every 2 weeks after I visit these colleges. No, he was a social justice warrior, you know that? This guy that sort of ran people. He said, August, he was giving an interview to student media, and he was like, I'm tired of, people making assumptions about me because I'm Muslim. 3 months later, he was driving his car into 9 people. He, by the way, was taking a class on microaggressions. Are they having fun outside? Are they here for us? Oh, hello. Oh, they're watching outside. Hello. I wish I could let you in. He was taking a class on microaggressions. And this is part of the left strategy, of course, to sort of to legitimize violence as an appropriate response to ideas. And this, as you have seen in the aftermath of Trump's election, is exactly what the left wants to do. It wants to muddy the waters between speech and action so that their violence comes to be seen as an appropriate response to your ideas, to your principles, to your beliefs. Your mascot here is the Mountaineers, which is a wonderfully patriarchal symbol. It's one of those jobs feminists don't moan about gender equality in. It's partly because mountains are so cold and they don't have cigarette breaks and climbing harnesses make your ass look fat. The pay is terrible. There are no soft carpets or central heating. You don't hear very much from feminists about the pay gap or the gender imbalances in mountaineering. And that's just the start. You have a mascot that fires a rifle during football games. It's almost designed to piss off the left. It's wonderful. Wonderful. Now, of course, the sorts of people that this annoys are the sorts of people who insist that all the gun crime in America is committed by straight white males, even the stuff in Chicago. It's all straight white males. It's all the fault of toxic patriarchal masculinity and America's gun culture. Give me a fucking break. There is one thing about this college, however, that I've got to tell you I'm not so fond of. And his name... his name... I think my slides guy got a bit carried away. Just a guess. His name is Daniel Brewster. Daniel, and I understand he has a bit of a reputation on campus. I understand that he does. Now, Professor Brewster teaches sociology, which comes just a little bit above gender studies in my burger-flipping majors ranking. Not very far above. Anything ending in studies is guaranteed to be a pile of fucking horse shit. And after that list, you've got sociology. I hear he's fond of bullying conservative students. Has anyone been in a class with this guy? You have. What's the worst thing he's done to you? Has anyone got a horror story? Yeah, what's he done to you? If you don't agree with my opinions, you're going to get an F.
Basically, he said if you're a Republican, you're going to get an F. If you don't like gays, you're going to get an F.
Well, if that's what gays look like, I don't fucking like them either. Well, Professor Hamburger is not, I'm pleased to tell you, does not represent the totality of homosexuals. There are far more attractive and intelligent, entertaining gays around. You just have to look a little harder, perhaps invite them to speak. What a cunt. All right. Do you know what he's done tonight? Do you know? You know, right. This guy... Exactly. This guy's put on some fucking awful LGBTQRIAA asterisk ampersand sword sign event across campus. You know, one of those overblown therapy sessions. And has announced that if you show up to that instead of this, you'll get extra credit. You're bribing students with better grades not to show up to listen to, to conservative opinions because he doesn't like the speaker. What a fucking idiot. These people are professors. These people teach you. I'm so terrified for you. How much are you guys paying to be here? Too much. Too much if this is the... I mean, it's just looking at it, isn't it? I mean... I'm just thinking, you get into lectures and you think, well, yeah, it's not a fashion show, I'm not here to like in the back, but you get into class and you're like, okay, all right, well, look, I chose sociology, maybe I fucked up, but it's not a serious subject, so at least the staff will be hot. Professor Stuff Your Face with Fruit Loops has a Twitter profile. One of those people who's still on Twitter. Sad, isn't it sad? Isn't it sad? Now his Twitter profile says, I welcome the fact that students feel safer knowing that I will be an advocate for them and knowing that I'm willing to fight for their rights and their inclusion. This is therapy culture. This isn't education. This is somebody whose primary goal is to make you feel good about yourself, however awful you are. And, law of averages says there's probably going to be about 20 to 30 genuinely terrible people in this room. But, this guy is here to make you feel better about yourselves, not to educate you. Not to broaden your horizons, to expose you to new ways of thinking, to new kinds of knowledge. That's not what he's here for. He's here to punish you for having the wrong political opinions and to eat cake. He's the personification, actually, to be serious about this for a moment, of the cancer that is eating away at universities, preaching tolerance in public and practicing censorship in private. Mr. Brewster aside... revoke his professorial credits for a second. I am him aside. I'm impressed with this university. If I do eventually, it's a very high energy audience, by the way. If I do eventually found a centre for men's studies, I shall put you on my list. In the meantime, let's get down to business. Less than a month ago, America changed course. This country saved itself from the brink of oblivion by voting for this beautiful man. Is Mike here? Did he make that? I think one of my boys made that. Isn't it lovely? It turns out not only did hundreds of thousands of millennials support Daddy, in his quest to make America great again. But what? That's what I call him. I call him Daddy. You didn't know that? No, he's like the perfect father figure. You know, he's not perfect. Sometimes makes you cringe, you know? You're like, God, Dad, did you really say that? But ultimately, you know he's got your best interests at heart. And you know that if you don't run away from home, if you do what he tells you, that things will probably work out okay. Because he's been around the block and he knows better than the rest of us what's up. That's why I call him Daddy. I think he's a perfect father figure. He's wonderful. Strong, confident, exudes maybe a little bit too much confidence, but no, he's perfect. He's wonderful. All right. Now, this is to be a relatively low-key, gracious kind of celebration because we, you know, low-key and tasteful, like everything I do. Because no... It's my drag persona. You like it? She's called Ivana Wall. See, it works in many different ways, so it's wonderful. No good victory party would be complete, however, without just a little bit of gloating. So before we get into the serious stuff, we have to see some examples of what we've just defeated to remind the leftists and the establishment Republican cucks that they lost. I'm going to play a few short clips for you, and the first one is the divine Queen Emperor Goddess Ann Coulter, who saw the Trump victory coming so far, so long ago, that she said it on Bill Maher almost as soon as Trump had announced that he was going to run. And even better than her words were the reactions of Bill Maher's audience, which I want to play for you now, because we can all enjoy them together in the light of what happened a month ago.
Okay, here we are. And which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Of the declared ones, right now, Donald Trump. I especially like.
What about of all of them? I mean, is Scott
fake
Walker?
Laughter from the audience.
All right, but what did Obama say? You can't stop being disastrously wrong about everything. Let's look at Obama and then some of his friends. What they said about this election, what was going to happen. There's no play button, is there, love? Do you want to try the space bar?
So when you stand and deliver that State of the Union address, in no part of your mind or brain can you imagine Donald Trump standing up one day and delivering a State of the Union address?
Well, I can imagine it in a Saturday night skit. I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
And some of his celebrity friends, people who were equally as confident. Let's hear from them. Spacebar, darling.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump. That's not going to happen.
Donald Trump will not become president.
Nor will you old bastard.
He's not going to be president. He is not. Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Take it to the bank. Okay. I guarantee it.
All right, all right.
I think if he becomes the president, he'll make it great because the states is already great.
I think that man will be president of the United States right about the time that spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs and red capes.
On that note, Tom,
take it from me. How about that?
Cheers, Tom.
And then, of course, there's Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Who's laughing now? We're laughing now. One person who was not laughing was Miley Cyrus. Did you see Miley Cyrus crying? I just want everyone to love each other. Lena Dunham. Amy Schumer. We'll get onto those harpies in a minute, but I have 3 words of advice for these odious babies. Unlike President Obama, unlike Canada's Trudeau, I'm fucking glad he's dead. Oh. If you recall, and this is pertinent to why Trump won, there's a huge list of celebrities who said they were going to move if Trump won. I'm leaving, that's it, I'll go to America if Trump wins. Now, they probably thought it was a fairly safe bet, but they have egg on their faces now. What interests me, though, is the countries they chose to move to were even whiter than America. They wanted to go to Canada and the UK. They didn't want to go to Mexico, did they? And the only African country that was chosen by any of these celebrities was Snoop Dogg, and it was South Africa, the home of apartheid. None of them want to go to Cuba. None of them want to go to Mexico City. None of them want to go anywhere. In fact, they all chose even more liberal, even wealthier, even more smug, overeducated, white places than the places they came from. Something interesting there, don't you think? Now, Amy Schumer, of course, said that, that it was just a joke. It's just a joke. Congratulations, Amy. First joke you've told that you didn't steal from somebody else in quite some time. We know that Hollywood loves these grand gestures. I think it would be quite a grand gesture for them to move to Cuba. A country that shares their politics, after all, shares their commitment to free speech and diversity. You know, give it 3 weeks, they'll all be converting to Islam, desperately hoping to get into Gitmo, because the food is better. No Kellogg's for a start. Now, look, should we send Lena Dunham, Cher, Jon Stewart? I think we should send them all, shouldn't we? Regardless of which group you happen to be a part of, Donald Trump and his presidency is going to have a lasting effect on your life. For some, this has already happened. For the workers of Carrier in Indiana, they will keep jobs that were going to go to Mexico. Same thing with Ford workers in Kentucky. He's saving the economy, and he hasn't even taken office yet. Others have felt a negative effect, like Matt Harrigan. Matt Harrigan is the CEO of a company called Packet Sled, which I'd never heard of before. But the CEO of this venture-funded Silicon Valley company, Packet Sled, threatened to assassinate Donald Trump with a sniper rifle. Claims it was a joke. Maybe he should write for Amy Schumer. They're both fans of being unfunny, unoriginal, and total cunts. The thing about Daddy, positively or negatively, you're going to feel him. You're going to feel him one way or the other. Now, when I wrote about Trump's election 2 weeks ago, waves of violent protests were still gripping the country. Those have largely calmed down, probably because whoever was paying them has cut off the checks. The buses have taken them back to whatever hellhole they came from. Yeah, you. These protests will surely return in time for Inauguration Day, which is going to be wonderful. My God, what am I going to wear? I've got a few options. I might go as Ivana Wall. I've got a suit that's just made of, like, just looks like bricks, like it's a wall. No, it says "Build me, Daddy." Many options, many wonderful options. You'll have to keep guessing. I'm gonna be hosting a party. You know, there's the inauguration balls, lots of balls around Washington D.C. Mine is called the Deplorable. So all of the people who shouldn't exist, the gays, the blacks, the women, the Hispanics, all the people who voted for Trump who shouldn't exist are going to be at my Deplorable. Now, these protests are going to come back. I don't mind seeing them. Sunlight doesn't cure hysteria, but it does expose hypocrisy. Now, every voice on the left bleated about two things before the election. They said, oh, this is a vast right-wing conspiracy about this rigged election stuff, right until they lost. And then it was real. Of course it was real. We never need a recount. And they bleated about worrying for their safety, for potential violence from Trump supporters. Well, what have we seen in the days since the election? Hasn't been triumphalist violence from the right, has it? No. It's been from the left. And the left, you know, the more that it sucks up to these odious creatures like Lena Dunham, the more that it celebrates their weird loathing of people with the wrong skin color or the wrong sex or the wrong sexuality, the more that it puts these people on magazine covers, the more it consigns itself to electoral oblivion, because the rest of us look at Lena Dunham and say, no fucking thank you. And they're entreaties, they're safe space. Oh, God, I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe in Trump's America. Fuck your safe space. Fuck it. Because And there are lots of good reasons to hate safe spaces. They are totally psychiatrically unsound. They actually produce the opposite effect to the one you want. If somebody's really gone through trauma, the way to help them through it is controlled exposure, not total avoidance. So they don't work on their face anyway. They're also not really about helping people anyway. It's just politics. But more than any of that, we don't need them. The left doesn't need them because the left is where the violence comes from. It doesn't come from the right. It comes from them. And every time they lose an election, or somebody with the wrong opinion swans onto campus, we see it. We saw it at DePaul, so many times. We know now. We see their hypocrisy. We recognize it. And to give you a flavor of how utterly miserable the left is about all of this, we're now in a post-election period in which they're faking hate crimes to try to paint you guys negatively, to try to paint Trump supporters negatively. Now, under normal circumstances, you would see something like this and you would be horrified. But these things aren't real. They're not true. And many of them are happening on college campuses. A Muslim woman at the University of Louisiana claimed Trump supporters attacked her. It didn't happen. A gay man from Canada named Chris Ball says he was also attacked and posted graphic pictures with a bloody face. The police say it never happened. I wrote, ahead of the curve, as always, on everything, I wrote a very long piece about this, about all the hate crime hoaxes that have been happening on the progressive left in America over the last 10 years. And I started the last leg of my tour with a talk, Why do lesbians commit so many fake hate crimes? And it does seem to go back to a couple of different groups, and they're the groups that have been the most endlessly pandered to by social justice warriors. The groups that have been told that they can skip telling the truth so long as the vague subject that they're engaged in is a worthy one. And this is how you get Rolling Stone. Should we go and see what they're up to? Just going to have a little look. In there. It's getting a bit rowdy out there. Bless them, bless them. Somebody's written them a check, so here they are. Oh dear. They were trying to break in. Did I see balaclavas? I think it was ski masks or something. They were trying to look black for me. We all calm down now? We a little better? Yeah, good. Thanks so much. You sober. The money's run out. Okay, good. Okay, so these hate crime hoaxes now are being even shown up on Snopes. Now, I don't know if you remember this. I don't know if you guys are old enough. When I was growing up, Snopes was the one website you'd go to if you wanted to find out if something was true or not. If it was like a sort of an old wives' tale, if it was an internet meme, if it was a hoax, you'd go to. Still, somebody's wound them up again. Should I throw them a quarter and we'll just sort of point the camera? Well, it can't cost very much to live in some vegan commune, you know. Sorry? No, it's fine. I'm going to say hello. Hi, sweetie, how are you? Are you having fun? Oh, they want a little... wants a selfie. Wants a selfie. Hi. Hello. Hi. Yeah, you can have one. It's all right. What are they doing out there? They're causing a fuss. Oh, there we go. It's all right. They're so nice with the top. I can't help it. I'm so excited by them. They're so angry. I can't help it. They're just so mad. There is, like Brexit, right? Brexit was a sort of precursor to Trump's victory. Brexit, which was a sort of precursor to Trump's victory. Oh, we've got to go and see them, haven't we? Come on. Let's go. Come on, let's go and see them. Come on. Let's go and say hello. Come on. What do they do? Come on. Let's go. Hello. Hi. Hello. Oh. Can I have your sign? Can I have his sign? Can I have the MILO sucks sign? Why are they in balaclavas? What? Hello?
Love you, Milo.
What? Why the embellish? I want this one. I want his Milo suck sign. I want his Milo suck sign. It'll be fun. Can you get me the Milo suck sign? The Milo suck sign. Can you grab me that?
Lose some weight.
Grab it. I want this little sign. I want this little sign. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take it. I'll take it. Thank you. All right, we're gonna go inside. Okay. There we go. There we go. No, I had to just go and get something. I had to do it. I had to. You see, thank you, Angel. You see, once in a while, like a stopped clock, just by accident, the left tells the truth. I do. Right. All right. Now, do you know what a shit? They're all wearing ski masks, by the way. Cowards. And my eyesight is not good, but I can tell you the average BMI in here versus the average BMI out there. Do you know how shit you have to be at hate crime hoaxes to get called out by Snopes these days? Snopes has sort of used to be this gold standard, and they've now turned into this horribly partisan blog, basically just ragging on Trump all day. But even Snopes has had to admit that the majority of this stuff simply never happened. And this is how you know how angry... Oh, God, I'm sorry. It's so exciting out there, isn't it? No, we can't. They won't. No, they won't. No, they won't let us. They won't let us bring them in. I'd love to bring them in because, like any normal 14-year-old, I love the zoo, and you get up close and personal with that sort of wildlife. There's a sort of thing you look forward to at the weekends, you know. Me in particular. Oh no, it's sad. I want to go and talk to them, but they won't let me know. Right. Hoaxers, of course, are only harming their own cause. While they may avoid immediate punishment for their ridiculous crimes, the effect that they have on the popular consciousness, the effect they have on the public, is really very dramatic and remarkable. And they are responsible, really, for destroying the credibility of the Democrat Party, which does deserve to be destroyed. But many of these things that go on, when they come out as fakes, and they always do, like pretty much any... I'm sorry to say, any rape scandal, it's very distracting, isn't it? My God! You've ever been at a shit party and there's been a much better one along the road, and you don't know if they'll let you in, so you're sort of pretending to have a good time with each other, and you just want to be out there getting punched. How are we doing? Are they all right? They're calmed down a bit, have they? Why do they wear? Thank you, by the way. Thank you very much. Why do they? Blue lives matter, thank you. Although you're on black, so thank you. I want to know why they cover their faces. I want to... Maybe it's your professor. Maybe it's Fatty Brewster. Maybe it was him. Oh, well, those kids aren't getting extra credit. Right. Many of the hoaxes, as I say, come from campus. Two liberals at Northwestern who defaced the Interfaith Chapel with spray paint aren't likely to find a job unless it's with Soros or in a pizza restaurant in Washington, D.C. Now, the Republican establishment fought against Trump at almost every turn. God, he used to be so great, didn't he? No, you're right. No, he was never great. But you know what? It's not nothing that Glenn Beck could get 1 million people to a rally in Washington, D.C. That's not nothing. Give the guy some credit. That's pretty cool. To get conservatives who are normally, a bit more laid back, a bit more cool, a bit more sophisticated about these things, to get 1 million conservatives into Washington, D.C. is pretty cool. Now he's a cunt. And God, he was on suicide watch after Cruz defected. You know, the sort of awful, slippery, final, oh, please give me a job, Daddy, after all. You know, Cruz-esque is the name I've given to it, Cruz-esque. And this guy, ooh, odious. But these guys spent the entire campaign effectively working for Hillary, working for the Democrats. And now they want positions in the Trump White House. Well, they can go fuck themselves. I don't believe for a second, and we're not in the business of making predictions as journalists, because it always comes back to bite us. But I don't believe for a second that Mitt Romney is going to be Secretary of State. Do you? No, I think Daddy's cleverer than everyone, and I think he's floating it. You still find it's not that funny. I think he's floating it as a sort of tease, you know, sort of tease. Yeah, little mittens. So gay, by the way. Little, not as gay as Rubio, but who is? No, but establishment Republicans like him are going to have the fight of their lives at every election they stand for. They stand at now. Paul Nealon, who stood against Paul Ryan, was just a bit ahead of his time, I think. But now there are going to be Trumpian candidates for every seat in Congress, everywhere in the Senate, mayors. Everywhere you care to look, there will be people who want to make America great again, rambunctious, energized, excitable, young conservatives and libertarians too. We like some of them, who are tired of a Republican establishment that thinks that writing an essay about something is the same as doing it, and are tired of special interest and all the other things that you guys hate and the reasons you voted for Trump. The Trump train isn't stopping anytime soon. The base is in it for the long haul, irrespective of what happens during this presidency. Trump, says he's going to drain the swamp, and there's good reason to suppose that he might. If the GOP wants to continue to receive campaign donations, they better get on board. And that means the whole Republican establishment, or the party deserves to die. The party deserves to be ripped apart and replaced with something new. The latest news from establishment GOP, by the way, and it is Mitt Romney related, is that he could be up for Secretary of State. Mittens was the most... Oh, look what they've done. They've pulled the fire alarm. They've pulled the fire alarm. Good heavens. They're just trying to tell me I'm hot. I know. But, oh, well, we're staying, aren't we? We're staying. We're not going anywhere. We'll stay. Good. Good. What a pathetic fire alarm that was. It must have been installed by a liberal. I could barely fucking hear it. Just this, it was like, no, we shan't. Oh, it's loud. Oh, they've turned it up now. They want me to... It feels like it's moving, like it's following me or something. Oh, you see, this is what happens when the left can't win with arguments. They win with fire alarms. Well, unlike other conservative speakers, I will... Shut up, woman! Oh, they're turning it up now, you see. Unlike other conservative speakers, I will not be ejected from my room because some idiot outside has pulled the fire alarm. Let's get through it, shall we? Right. Give me Mitt Romney's tweets on... There we go. Mittens tweeting about Trump. What did he say? Here's what I know. Donald Trump is a phony, a fraud. His promises are as worthless as a degree from Trump University. Ooh. We're not going. Mass civil disobedience. You see? We can do it too. Right. He's playing the American public for... Oh, who cares anyway? It's quite camp, isn't it? It's like they knew I was coming. It's not a very heterosexual fire alarm. I will give... I will give you my opinion, which I know you all crave, which is that Mitt Romney should get a role in the Trump White House, ambassador to Cuba. We should send him off to Cuba so he can hang out with all the people that hate Trump and hate America as much as he fucking does. Now the big... Is it? It's moving. It's over there now. It is over there now. No! No! You can't. She can't even speak English. There's been a fire alarm reported in the building. No, there's been a fire reported in the building. You're the fire alarm. Idiot. God. Oh. All right. Yeah, oh, God. It's so shit. That's why it's distracting. All right, okay. I'm sorry. Thank you for the little focus chat. All right, I'm going to go. We're going to get through it. All right, you ready for this? We're going to go. The big losers of the general election. Fuck you! The Democrats are busy making their defeat even more comprehensive. It's like they confuse losing elections for the national debt. All of their pathos is aimed at Trump instead of fixing the reasons they lost. Awful people. The entire primary was rigged for crooked, spooky Hillary, who is unhealthy in every conceivable way. Remember that post-Podesta emails about spirit cooking? Well, I wasn't surprised because I know that lesbianism and witchcraft go together like daddy and winning. Among the most severe of Hillary's sicknesses, and she clearly has a lot of them, is her disdain for the American people. It oozes out of every pore. I think people picked up on it, they knew it, and that's why what happened happened. The Democrat Party, of course, followed Hillary's lead in labeling everyone they didn't like a racist, a sexist, or a homophobe. Well, it doesn't work anymore. You can't get away with it anymore. And the era that you could just call people names to shut them up, the era in which you could just call somebody a racist or a homophobe or a sexist or a transphobe, whatever the fuck that means. The era you could do that and win, get away with it, shut them down, make them go away is over. And that is the great effect of Donald Trump. This shit doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work. So, should all give a huge round of applause and congratulations to those ski-masked cowards outside for proving our point for us. We are here. The talk will continue. Trump is still going to be fucking president, whether you like it or not. These guys called so many people so many names that Hillary's basket of deplorables grew so big that we were all in it. No matter what we looked like, what color we were, what sex we were, what sexuality we had, anything about us. We ran the risk of falling into the basket of deplorables if we had the wrong opinions. That's why this happened. Good. They deserve it. Now, are we going to take a look at something and how the media was complicit in all of this? And it's the New York Times. This is a graph that shows incidents of the word racist. Sorry about the carpet. I will get someone to clean it up. Incidences of the word racist in the New York Times' coverage. You see it up at 2010, and then we get into current year, and boom. Has racism in America suddenly exploded to this extent? Anyone think it has? No. Of course it fucking hasn't. And if you believe that suddenly an entire generation of Americans, maybe 2 generations of Americans, has abruptly become white supremacist anti-Semites, as the left seems to pretend to, or pretends to, you have to explain why. And there is no good reason for it. There's no good explanation for this. It clearly isn't true. That is the proof. That is why this happened. The media made it up. They smeared you, they lied about you, and they did it all to prevent Donald Trump from being president. Well, guess what? They lost. It didn't work. This is a bubble. And like any other bubble, whether it's a bubble in finance or anything else, sooner or later it bursts. Well, the bubble just did. It just burst. The media's ability to destroy people's reputations, I know it's annoying, the media's ability to destroy people's reputations with name-calling is finally coming to an end. And that is the great product of Donald Trump. That is the great result of a Donald Trump presidency. Democrats continue to move away from the mainstream toward the most fanatical left-wing positions, the sorts that you find from your Professor Fat Ass, and all of the, I'm not going to stop, he is a cunt, all of the other terrible people on campus who are making your lives miserable, and you're lucky here because there aren't too many of them at West Virginia, but they are around, and you're going to find out about them the more you study in places like this. These people are moving further and further into crazy territory. They've abandoned the politics of the mainstream in favor of the safe space, trigger warning, and social justice politics. It's about college professors and the Huffington Post these days, not about winning votes, and they wonder why they lost. Now, I've already mentioned some of the... Oh, they slipped that on there. I'm so sorry. So sorry that happened.
May I have your attention, please?
Still no. They wonder why they lost. I've already mentioned the celebrities who promised to flee the country, but a few more thoughts are in order for the group of special snowflakes. The left panders to people like Lena Dunham. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but Lena Dunham posted audio on her Twitter account of her talking to her dad, and she asked her dad whether he would be comfortable with, and I quote, the extinction of white men. These are the people the Democrat Party thinks are going to appeal to ordinary Americans. These are the people the Democrat Party thinks that's what they think America looks like. Well, it doesn't, because America isn't racist, and America isn't sexist, and America isn't totally fucking insane. So the more you see of Lena Dunham, the more you're going to be turned off the left. And I think you're going to see much less of these people in a Trump presidency because a space has been opened up. A new room has been created in culture, not just in politics, but in culture, for comedians who laugh at them. New space has been opened up in culture for an entirely new brand of entertainer. Space has been opened up in culture for new kinds of literature. It's finally okay to do and say certain things. You won't get your life destroyed. I don't know if some of you will remember that I did an art show in New York where I bathed in a vat of pig's blood with the pictures of people who were killed by illegal aliens in this country. It was called Angel Mom. And the point of it was to draw attention to unnecessary bloodshed. It was part of the pro-Trump art show put on by Lucian Wintrick. And it was an international scandal and sensation. Why? Because it wasn't just the first art show that had been protested since Piss Christ, but it was possibly the first art show in history ever to be protested by the left. And that tells you the culture has shifted. It tells you that now, if you want to be dissident and mischievous and creative and boundary pushing, if you want to actually create or achieve or challenge, if you want to be interesting, if you want to be inspiring, if you want to be something, you've got to be a Republican. And you've got to wear one of those hats. And you've got to be for Donald Trump. One celebrity in particular deserves special mention. That's Joss Whedon, the creator, I'm sorry to say, of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which I like very much. Joss Whedon is actually calling for an overthrow of the government in this tweet. He says, this is simple. Trump cannot be allowed a term in office. It's not about 2018, it's about right now. Well, Joss is an amazing guy. He's kind of like the battered wife of feminism. After his movie came out, one of the Avengers movies, you know, Scarlett Johansson's character had a sort of dark backstory. And feminists didn't like that because anything that ever happens bad to a woman is sexism. It can't be, you know, an interesting and harrowing part of the plot that helps us all come to terms with our common humanity and helps the woman grow and, you know, helps us to explore compassion. No, anything bad that happens to a woman is sexism. So he got run off Twitter by people who said they wanted to kill him, and he's still coming back for more, still pandering to the same terrible people. It's sort of an abusive relationship he has with feminists, you know. The future for these people is very, very bleak. Hollywood threw everything into this fight. The news business threw everything into this fight. Academics, they threw everything into this fight. And they lost big. They lost big. Between WikiLeaks' exposure of what was going on at the Clinton campaign and the Twitter timeline of Michael Tracy, who was a leftist and former Vice reporter, and they fired him. They fired him for being too mean to Lena Dunham. Now he's talking on Twitter endlessly to the embarrassment and shame of his former colleagues about the extraordinary hypocrisy of the left-wing press, casting light on it, showing us all what they're really like from the inside. Some of these people occasionally do break ranks, and when they do, you learn all sorts of things. Trump understands the media business. He understands it better than anyone else. He's better at it than anyone else. If we are in a post-truth era, it is the mainstream media who put us there. Not us, not Trump. They are the ones who lied, who misrepresented. They are the ones who did this. And just for your edification, and because I like, ugly accessories because they make me look better, here's another ugly fag. Nate Silver is an unattractive homosexual who is famous for getting one prediction right once about sports, I think in 2005. And since then being wrong about absolutely everything. Never been right about anything since. Yet he's fated as a genius by the liberal establishment because he has the right politics. These people are fraudsters. They are frauds and they are liars. And everyone knows it now. And if Trump hadn't won, they would still have been able to tell you that, oh, you were paranoid, it was a vast right-wing conspiracy. But now we know the difference between what the polls said was going to happen, which they did on purpose to make people vote the other way, and what actually happened. We now know that people like this are brazen liars. They're lying to you and they're lying about you every day. And it is unacceptable, but their time is coming to an end. And that is the effect of Donald Trump. That's what Trump means. That's why I like him so much. That's why I think he matters so much. Perhaps we can have honest disagreements without being compared to Nazis and rapists. Perhaps when the polls start telling us the truth and reporters actually do their jobs, and even the New York Times said they had given up their responsibility to fair reporting and they needed to reset, go back to center. Well, yeah, no fucking, yeah, you do. Perhaps when all of that happens, maybe, when they've stopped calling us names, the accuracy of polls will improve and reporting will improve, and we will once again trust the media. Until then, it sucks to be you, Nate Silver. And that leaves the rest of us, the deplorables. President Trump, this is us. This is us. This is us. Oh, I'm going nowhere. I'm going nowhere. President Trump means an American government that will serve the people, be rooted in common sense, and will stick by its friends. He's going to take the Churchill bus back and put it back in the Oval Office where it belongs after Obama sent it unceremoniously back to the UK. Well, we sent it to you for a reason, because we love you and we want you to love us too. So he's going to put that back. He's going to restore the special relationship. He's going to do all sorts of wonderful things. And if he stays true to his campaign promises, he's going to fix trade. He's going to fix immigration, and he's going to represent, and this is the thing that I care about the most, an existential threat to political correctness. He is going to once and for all finally end the dominion of people who insist on lying to and lying about you for a living and giving you no recourse and giving you no right to respond. Thank you very much. I will take some questions. This has been fun. With the microphone, I'll pick somebody and he'll run over to you, and I think we have time for a couple of questions. Since we've had such a lively evening together, I think we've got time for a couple. Anybody wants to ask something, throw your hands up. You were so lovely outside. Yeah, the hot one. Yeah, you.
Hello, Milo.
Hi, sweetheart.
Hey, I was wondering, because you keep on mentioning that trust has eroded in the left-wing media,
Yes.
and I know you were around Gamergate since Conspiracy. Do you think that beyond Trump, before Trump maybe even, we created that hole to, sort of, as you put it, methodically take them down?
Yeah, well, the question, it's interesting because have I gone off? I think I'm off. Do you have to switch it? There we go. Well, no one's ever going to believe this because nobody ever read any decent reporting on this unless you were reading me at the time. But Gamergate, which was this sort of extraordinary clash of video gamers and feminists and journalists, which you would have no interest in reading if you weren't into gaming. And even if you were, you probably, well, this may have passed you by. It was a cataclysmic event in culture. It was the first time that we beat them. It was the first time that not just the political right, but the cultural right fought back. And not just Republicans, but libertarians. People who, when told their video games could turn you into sexists, said, prove it. When told that their video games were damaging and racist and sexist, said, where? Show me. prove it. I'm not just taking it on trust like the comic book fans did, or the fantasy fans did, or the... You see, this is another great conservative virtue, perseverance. You see, stick to your guns, and eventually they get bored. It was a very important thing, and it was important because it was the first time that the cultural right and cultural libertarians had won. They fought them off. They beat them, and who would have believed it was the humble video gamer to do it? But Gamergate was the first moment in culture that I believed that a Trump could be possible, because it was the first time that social justice warriors and feminists and Black Lives Matter and all those kind of odious idiots, who trade on feelings instead of facts, got a good kicking. They really got beaten up badly. And it was wonderful to watch because it finally persuaded me that there was a core of libertarians, free thinkers, dissidents, mischief makers, Republicans, and whatever else, who had some backbone left, who really cared about stuff and weren't just going to accept on face value that they were all racist and sexist and they should pray for forgiveness at the temple of the Democrat Party. It persuaded me that something like Trump was possible. And so when he came along, I knew he'd win. I knew he'd win because I'd seen it happen in culture already. And culture is so much bigger and more important than politics. Politics is just symptoms, you know. What matters is what happens in Hollywood, in the news business, in academia, and now, which all of you won't realize unless you do this, video games, which are a $90 billion industry. I mean, video gaming is bigger than Hollywood. Some of you will play, Grand Theft Auto or whatever at the weekends. What you don't realize is just how utterly vast this industry is. And it's barely covered. Nobody reports on it. Nobody knows anything about it, really. Nobody knows who the players are. Nobody knows who the big studios are. Nobody knows how much, occasionally you'll see, Grand Theft Auto took 300 million on its first day, and you're like, okay, whatever, move along with your life. Nobody realizes what a big deal it was. And nobody saw it coming. And I was the only conservative who did. And the only person, really, to treat it with the seriousness that it deserved. And with the result that we won. So yeah, no, it was very important. And it was an important moment in culture, which is why... And I very firmly believe that it laid the groundwork for Trump, because I think that it showed that you don't have to have the cool friends. You don't have to be liked on Twitter. You can say unpopular true things and win anyway. You can survive if they come for you. Because the Gamergate, these gamers who would just be like, we're not sexist and racist. What the fuck are you talking about? I just want to blow some shit up and see some tits. There's nothing wrong with that. There is not. And it doesn't make me a horrible monster when I turn the console off. I don't beat my girlfriend after I've, beaten up the prostitute in Grand Theft Auto, because guess what? I know the difference. So I'm not a single-celled organism like a social justice warrior. I am a sentient, intelligent, educated being, and I can tell the difference between a video game and real life. So, this was the first time that I think people realized, and everyone was watching, and everyone was too scared to say anything, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm going in. But everybody, I think, realized that the whole press can be against you and you can win anyway. And that's why I think that Trump was possible, because it emboldened his supporters to simply stop caring about what the press said about them, because they'd seen it happen before, and they'd seen it be successful. Andrew, let's go somebody this side. You, in the dark grey. Yeah. Oh, it was the one behind, actually. Oh, no, I feel bad now. Why don't you both go? You can't make me choose. Okay. You both go.
First of all, thank you very much for coming here. Definitely appreciate it a lot. Obviously, thanks for putting up for all the bullshit. Thank you. But
I've made a mess outside and I've ruined your carpet. But thanks for having me.
We love it just as much as you do. Don't worry. But I think it's undeniable that Trump faced numerous obstacles during the election cycle, between the number of other candidates, the media bias, Hollywood, all the stuff, throwing everything they got. But now that it's over and he's in, what do you think his biggest challenge will be as president for the next 4 years?
Sort of makes you wistful for the days of the fire alarm. I think I'm very fragile, I don't look it, but I think his biggest challenge is going to be, look, he's got to hire 5,000 people. He's got to take some of them from existing Republican stock. I think he's going to encounter a lot of resistance from, Paul Ryan's wife's boyfriend. There we go. All the various other people who are going to cause trouble for him in the Republican elites from within. I think his big challenge, he's got to do what he did when he was running, which is terrify the living daylights out of them and bully, beat, and scream them into submission and have them begging for his patronage. Because if he doesn't do that, there's a reasonable chance that they'll simply block everything that he's trying to do out of spite. You've got to remember that this guy's put them all out of business. Not just the politicians, but an entire ecosystem of lobbyists and consultants, all the people who get paid vast sums to sit around and say, oh, you should do this, and oh, Wisconsin will go that way if you do this. Not in that accent, obviously. These people are all out of business because he has smashed the conventional wisdom on absolutely everything. So all of the very worst people in America, the absolute worst people in the world, are kind of like fucked for 8 years, They've got nothing to do and they're not going to make any money. And the journalists who weren't behind him are going to find themselves increasingly isolated and irrelevant. Ben Shapiro. Sorry, I should do it here, shouldn't I? And so, I think there's going to be retaliation at some point. They're going to come for him. Now, at the moment, the press is coming for, my old boss and even me a little bit, and various other people with these ridiculous names, anti-Semite, white supremacist. Oh, give me a break, please. They're coming at us with all kinds of ridiculous names. But when there's was it 5 stages of grief, the Kubler-Ross, bargaining, acceptance, whatever it is. When they finally come to terms with the fact that they lost, they didn't win. Like, get it into your heads. You didn't win. Go away now. When it finally dawns on them, and they sort of retreat into their corner to lick their wounds and work out what they're going to do in 8 years' time, I think the establishment Republicans are going to come for him. And I think it's going to be ugly, sort of internecine warfare. I think he's going to need his supporters to tell these people where to go. So that's my big worry for him in office. Thank you. And Andrew, I want to go to the other one just behind this one. Yeah, this guy here. Not again. Stop it, Andrew.
Thank you. So towards the end of the election, another tranche of WikiLeaks emails came out, and what little amount that the media did to try to cover it, they were on Hillary's plane, and they asked her about this, and she was standing next to Podesta. And she said something, and then she went right to the R word, Russians. And so this whole time there has been like this kind of resurgence, this neo-McCarthyism amongst the left, that if you just say anything and you connect it to the Russians, immediately they're bad. I mean, Trump wants to get along with everybody. He wants to be, a sensible individual. But what's your take on this whole, like I said, this neo-McCarthyism that we experience with all these, Yeah,
it's a good question. It's a sort of psychiatric defect among people who have lost the argument and forgotten. Sorry, I think I'm gone again. What? I know. I can tell. Thanks. I'll yell. It's a sort of psychiatric defect of people who haven't really had to work or fight for anything or persuade anyone for 30 years because they've been able simply to lie and to name call. Which is a situation the left finds itself in. So when it panics, the progressive left looks for scapegoats, and it's the specter of white supremacy. It's anti-Semitism. It's the Russians. It's a green cartoon frog on the internet. I pray to Keck every day. He has bestowed great gifts upon me, as you can tell. I think you can relatively confidently dismiss it, like you can confidently dismiss most of what they do as just another search for someone to blame for their own failures. And this, of course, is what social justice warriors do. Feminism, as it currently exists, third-wave feminism, is a vast exercise in shifting the blame. Anything bad that happens to you is the fault of some man somewhere, or all men, the patriarchy. What this does is it robs young girls of the ability to make their own lives better. If you didn't pass an exam, you can either take responsibility, study, and try again, or you can say the marking criteria was sexist. Black Lives Matter, similarly, is an exercise in shifting the blame. Rather than taking control of your own circumstances, your own lot in life, educating your kids, trying to get them into Harvard, work within the system, and raise yourself up using all of the tools available in America. You throw your toys out the pram, burn your own town down, and demand special treatment. This is... This is an abnegation of personal responsibility, another great conservative virtue, and scapegoating and blaming somebody else for all your own faults. That's what is happening right now in the pages of the New York Times and in Vox and BuzzFeed and not Gawker anymore. All these liberal outlets are looking for who did it. Who did it to us? There couldn't have been anything wrong with us, because all we were doing was fighting racism and sexism and trying to stop that awful man getting to the White House and white supremacy. One day, perhaps, in their 60s or their 70s, they will look back and they will think, maybe it was me. Maybe I was just an idiot. But not anytime soon. So expect them to continue to blame racism, sexism. Expect them to continue to blame the Russians. Almost anybody that they can lay their hands on that will excuse them from self-examination. Because that's what they do. I think we do one or two more. Look at this very enthusiastic lady over here. Let's do that. Waving with both hands, a high-energy wave.
Hi, Milo.
Hi, Donnie.
I'm really fucking thrilled to be here. Because I was outside that door earlier. But
you were?
I was.
Was it awful?
It was scary.
Was it scary?
Those guys came in the mask. I was scared shit.
Why were they in ski masks? They're ugly.
I don't know.
What's your question?
Well, actually, first, I wanted to say that fat shaming does work.
I mean, of course it does. But yeah.
So I'm 1 month into my weight loss journey, as the snowflakes would say. 15 pounds down. So thank you. So thank you very much for that, Milo. You did that for me. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, just to interject briefly. I mean, they say this fat shaming doesn't work. Of course it fucking works. Of course it works. Anybody knows. If you come home and you've put weight on, you're sort of like your wife's not interested or your husband's not interested anymore, and you say, oh, does my look big? Well, yeah, a little bit. Of course it works. Everyone knows they stop getting sex when they get too big. What's the worst thing that could ever happen to you? Is somebody you love, you want to have sex with them, and and all the real studies, not these sort of awful lefty, advocacy research, horseshit things, all the real studies say the same thing, that social pressure is the #1 reason why, sorry, I'm being unhelpful to you. Social pressure is the #1 reason why people make changes in their life generally, whether it's giving up smoking or losing weight or whatever. The sort of feeling that sense of social pressure, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Fat shaming is the virtuous choice. Fat shaming is a public service, so keep doing it. And I'm glad that you got something out of it. Thank you. I think you had a question.
I was just wondering what you thought about Godfrey Eldwick's bogus article to The Guardian about the alt-right.
Okay, yeah, thank you. It's a good tee-up question. There we go. Godfrey Elfwick, which is the finest comic creation on the internet, I encourage you to look up for his Twitter account, claims to be responsible for an article in The Guardian, anonymously written, and I believe that it was him because he's brilliant, and I've spoken to him before, that said, the alt-right turned me into a racist, but I pulled myself back from the brink, and I started with Sam Harris. I mean, talk about a guy, an implausible idiot, to try to pin it on Sam Harris, one of the most reasonable and intelligent thinkers, far more educated and interesting than I am, try to pin it on him and then say, oh, well, it started. It was a very somberly written thing. So this is an anonymous byline in The Guardian. So it started with Sam Harris videos, and then I discovered Milo Yiannopoulos. And then finally, I started thinking to myself, ooh, maybe Muslims don't like gays that much. And my wife suddenly caught me, and I was like, oh my God, I thought turned racist. Anyway, I pulled myself up. Anyway, this ridiculous thing. So obviously fictitious, so obviously full of shit. And they have the gall that they dare to accuse Breitbart of, or any of these other right-wing publications of fake news. The fake news is the stuff you read in the New York Times. It's Nate Silver. The fake news is the stuff that you read in The Guardian. The things that they desperately wish were true. They believe, and they want to believe are true. All Trump supporters are racists. All Trump supporters are motivated by this deep-seated patriarchal hatred of women. What, even the 52% of women that voted for him, you idiot. They all want to believe this. They have to believe it. They're desperate to believe it. That's the real fake news. This is another one of the things that they have done after the election, their retaliation. Who's to blame? Who did this to us? Who did this to us? Because it wasn't us. We didn't lose fair and square. Somebody did it. So they started coming for the right-wing media, coming for libertarian and conservative publications that they rightly recognized as having a huge influence on this election because they themselves did not, except, of course, to embarrass themselves and show up the left for what it is. And they started coming for us, accusing us of publishing fake news. Well, there's a reason that Breitbart is able to laugh in the face of Kellogg's and Tony the Tiger, and that is because we boast 45 million readers a month. And they're not all idiots. Most of them are not. Most of them are just like you. The vast majority, just like the vast majority of any other publication, are smart, educated, normal Americans who are sick of the mainstream media. And, they've rightly identified Breitbart as one of the most powerful media, new media companies in America today, and they just couldn't stand it. Why do they hate us? Because we tell the truth. And it's really as simple as that. And that article is a perfect example of the sort of fictitious garbage the mainstream media is perfectly happy to publish if it makes them feel right, and it sort of has the right politics and enables them to wallow in their feelings instead of examining the facts. It is a perfect, beautiful example of how, one, the media works, and two, the fact that they have not learned their lesson after this election. They haven't got it into their heads this stuff doesn't work anymore. So I'm grateful to you for bringing that up because it's a wonderful example. I'm going to do one more question, I think. Is that right? Yes? Could you go somewhere else in the room? You've been very... I want to make Andrew run because Andrew could do with a bit of fat shaming. So I'm gonna choose this lady over here with the I will pay for that later.
Hi, Milo. Thank you so much for coming to WVU. I was really pissed when they moved it from before the election to now, but I'm still glad you're here.
Well, I'm glad. We got to have a party. It's my first talk since
Yes.
Excitement outside. We got sugary snacks. What more could you want?
I also wanted to thank you for bringing to my attention just one of your videos on Facebook where you literally just listed out the stats from the FBI crime report, and ever since then I've been checking it every year, so thank you for completely obliterating Black Lives Matter with that. I really appreciate it. I was wondering if you would ever consider doing like a show or a broadcast with Tommy Lahren from The Blaze.
Oh, I like her a lot. She's poor girl at The Blaze. Can you imagine all that talent? Oh, you got to wait. She might see this, so I'll wait until I've got the mic. How are we doing? Yes, good. No, I love her. Very smart, very well educated, right about almost everything. Lovely hair, which matters just as much. I only feel sorry she's stuck in that dead end, The Blaze. I mean, I know there are some possibly 2-3 subscribers left in America. I think she's going to get snapped up pretty soon by somebody else. I don't know about doing a show together. I think she'd find me a little too gauche. But I would love to... Well, she's a nice girl. She's a nice girl from a nice home. She probably doesn't like swearing. She might find me a bit much, but I love her. I'd certainly like to have her on my show or something. So yeah, no, I think she's terrific. One of the very few, I think, conservative pundits. I don't really think of myself as a sort of political pundit. I've been talking a lot about the election, but I only really care about Trump because of free speech and free expression and art and culture. So I got sort of drawn into talking about Trump because I care about those things, and that's what matters at the moment. She's one of the few strictly political pundits, along with Ann Coulter, that I think actually is worth paying attention to. So yes, I think she's great. Very, 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 very good, and somebody to watch. Can we do one more, Andrew? Yeah, let's do one more. I feel guilty now. I'm sorry, by the way. I didn't mean it. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna pay for that later. Right. Let's do. Yeah. All right. This guy in the beanie, the hat. Yeah. You. I need a bit of diversity. It's been all white people. Yeah. Sorry. It's okay.
Hey, Milo.
It's okay because I have a very enthusiastic affirmative action policy in the bedroom. More than makes up for my white audience.
Okay, Milo, who do you like more, Joan Crawford or Bette Davis?
Oh, it's such a gay question. I've never heard a Barbra Streisand song. I'm the worst fag in the world. I suck at being gay. Apart from the sex bit, I'm good at that, but I'm really bad at being gay. Joan Crawford or Bette Davis? Well, so for those of you who don't know, because that was a very esoteric question, there is a movie that is good. There's sort of a cult gay movie called Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. And it's, students sometimes know it's a bit of like a student cult movie. And these two actresses who were, sorry, say again? It's an old people movie. Well, it's, who said that? Oh, okay, no. Come on. Oh, God. But did you see it when you were a little girl in the theater? Oh, okay. That came out a really long time ago. Oh. She is. Don't we have the best MILFs? Well, the movie, I commend it to you as a wonderful little theatrical artifact. If you're into character studies, the two actresses kind of past their prime, playing these two kind of grand, larger-than-life women. And the appeal of this movie is that they're not really playing the characters, they're really just being themselves. And these two women absolutely hated each other in real life. And it starts to it seethes out of the screen. When you've seen the movie, I think you will appreciate, since she was more deranged and hysterical, I think Bette Davis would probably be my favorite. There's a lovely song at the beginning, which of course you will know. I've written a letter to Daddy. That's a weird way to end this talk, but see, I know some shit. You didn't think I know that shit. Yes, it's a very good film. Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Let's do one more. Andrew. Let's go right up the back to the guy in the red up there.
Lovely. First off, you'll forgive my Fidel Castro look. I didn't know he was going to die. I swear to you, I'm not a Cuban revolutionary or any of that shit. But we are in the midst of a cultural war. I think you would agree with me when I say that. Yes. And given that multiculturalism has failed in Europe, and now that Trump's won, and you could say that, I guess maybe the alt-right has kind of won too, where do you think... And I'm a classical liberal, so I identify with Sargon of Akkad, for instance. Where do you think the next step is for people like us? People on my team, I should say. And, and fellow travelers like yourself.
Yeah. Okay, so I think a lot of what you guys have been complaining about for a very long time is, if you watch Sargon of Akkad, who's a friend of mine, I haven't spoken to him for a while, actually, but he's a wonderful, wonderful YouTuber, very smart on trigger warnings and safe spaces and feminism and all the rest of it. He's a classical liberal. And these are the people who follow J.S. Mill, read On Liberty and really believe that stuff, which not many people do these days, even Republicans. There's people who believe that you should be able to say, do, and be whatever you want, provided that you don't hurt anybody else, provided you're not infringing on anyone else's rights, infringing on anyone else's property. This is a sort of very central building block of American public life, but even Republicans don't believe this, or at least not all of them these days. Well, for you guys, Trump, although he may be, in Steve Bannon's words, an imperfect vessel, I think Trump is going to be a remarkable boon to your cause, because Trump may not be the most libertarian candidate for president in history, but the effect of Trump is going to be to smash political correctness beyond any recovery. And the effect of a Donald Trump presidency is going to produce all of the things you want. You're going to be able to say, do, and be anything, except perhaps a social justice warrior. And it will be okay. You know, you can yiff if you want to. Everyone know what that is? No furries in the room? That's what they call their sex, you know. The people who have sex in the fur animal suits. They call it yiffing. You can even... It's my job to know these things. You can even watch anime. It's all gonna be okay. And it's gonna be okay thanks to the election of the most improbable but wonderful candidate for president this country has ever had, Donald J. Trump. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for being such a lovely audience. Oh well, thank you.